Hello, I'm Sarah, and you are watching Can Sarah DIY It. If you are new to my channel, welcome, and if you feel compelled to, please subscribe. I'm only a tiny baby little channel, and I would love to grow and be a part of the DIY community on YouTube. Today I'm doing my second tiered tray. I'm really excited about it, and I kind of racked my brain trying to think of what I should do because there's like a lot of summer themes like lemons, honeybees, watermelon, strawberries, all that kind of thing, but it's not really my jam. So what I did instead was I picked a color palette that fit my vibe, and that's the direction I took. And I really am happy with the outcome. So let's get into it. I hope you like it too. And if you're not already, hop on over to Instagram and follow me there. I am Can Sarah DIY It on Instagram. So I look forward to seeing you over there. I like to give little sneak peeks, and you can also share your projects with me there if you just private message me. All right, thanks so much and enjoy the video. I found this wooden butterfly at the Dollar Tree, and I knew I had to do something with it. So I started off with folk art chalk paint in the color Grotto, and I mixed about 50-50 with their white color just to make a lighter shade. I found this great scrapbook paper on sale, and I started cutting out pieces to cover the wood cutouts that they had layered on top. And here I am showing you how I was able to trace the pieces. It wasn't that easy, but what I did is I pressed my fingers down to make an imprint on the paper. And then when I flip it over, you can tell that I have lines on there that I can use to cut the shape out so that it's an exact match. After I cut out all the pieces using that same method, I'm going to start adhering them to the piece with decoupage. I'm using a glossy Mod Podge, and so after I place my scrapbook paper on the piece with the Mod Podge, I'm then going to go over the entire piece, including the painted portion, with the Mod Podge. Since it's a gloss, I didn't want the paper to be shiny and the paint to be matte. I think we've all seen these birdhouses at the Dollar Tree. They're so cute and little, and they make a really cute addition to any tiered tray. For this project, I wanted to stick to my palette, so after I painted it in the teal color, I went over it with the vintage mustard to distress it. They have these boxes at the Dollar Tree. You can see the bottom sitting there upside down. I just love it because it has a butterfly, obviously. So I painted around the butterfly in the teal color, and then I am going back and I'm going to paint the butterfly itself in the vintage mustard. And I'm going to use the bottom of the box for another project that you'll see in a little bit. It was so fun, and look at how pretty the two colors are together. After I finish painting the butterfly yellow, I go in to the edges with the mustard yellow, and I do the same distressing technique that I did on the little birdhouse, just to keep the vibe going the same direction. This is Above and Beyond Charlotte's favorite. You can see the scrapbook paper that I was inspired by here. And I wanted to show you how I figured out the shape to cut out, because I wanted to put some scrapbook paper in the frames. I traced with printer paper because I could see through it the lines that were already there on the glasses. And then I took the scrapbook paper and I folded it in half and I cut out the template I had made. And what happened, because I had folded the paper in half, the pieces were mirror images of each other. So it worked out so that they would work on either side of the glasses. I did take that same teal color and do the outer edges of the sunglasses, and then I put this cute scrapbook paper that is part of the set that goes with the other scrapbook paper that I've been using, and I did a full decoupage on the entire thing. These are so flippin' cute. You can pretty much always find a house shape something at the Dollar Tree. I decoupaged this scrapbook paper on the back side of this house, and I lost the footage somehow, but I flipped it over and trimmed off the excess, and now I'm doing my first solo wood project, which is kind of cool. I couldn't figure out which one I wanted to use, so I just dumped them all out. These are the mini solo wood flowers. I also have a huge vase full of the larger size. I end up picking 3 that I want to use, and I take my little dauber, and this is when I start to introduce the salmon coral color of the chalk paint from Folk Art. And I'm just using my dauber, and I am just getting the edges to give the flowers some vibrancy. But, you know, you can get these flowers dyed, you can order them dyed, or you can order the dye and dye them yourself, which I think is pretty cool. So I might try dyeing some of these flowers because I have a ton of them. But here I am mixing the white and the grotto together to make my lighter teal color or turquoise color. And you're gonna see me using the dauber again to just get that color on the tips of the flower, just to add some color so that they're not just plain ivory. Now I take some of the vintage mustard and I'm adding that into that first flower that I painted with the salmon coral, and just to add the vintage mustard in, I hot glue them onto the house that I had covered in that scrapbook paper, and this puppy's finished. So this one might be my least favorite project. I really wanted to make a sunburst or a sunflower, and I did my best. I don't think it's amazing, but I wanted to include it because, you know, I don't always succeed, and that's the whole point, is you try, you don't always succeed. It's okay. I used my miter shears and some mini popsicle sticks, and I just cut them up, and I start to hot glue them onto the backside of this 3-inch wooden round that I got on Amazon. I'm gonna link all this stuff in the description. I wanted to see how I could fit them, and then I wanted to layer a bunch of different layers on top. One tip that I think is kind of cool is if you're starting to glue things on and your glue dries, you can take your heat gun and that will melt your hot glue and you can start adhering stuff to it again. I thought that was pretty cool, actually. So now I'm taking more popsicle sticks, the little baby ones, the mini ones, and I just keep filling in over and over again. You're going to see I do, I think, like 3 or 4 layers. I'm just trying to make it random, but also have some semblance of symmetry. And this was really me just flying by the seat of my pants. I did not go into this with a plan. Just when you think I'm done putting popsicle sticks on this thing, I'm going to throw like 5 or 6 more on. But it is, I mean, I actually do like it. It's just, it doesn't have like, it's not perfect. Let's just say that. I figure out which scrapbook paper I want to use and what sort of colors I'm going to put on the actual wood round. And then I go in with my turquoise color and I am hitting right up next to the wood round. I decided I wanted to try and do an ombre effect. Ombre means that you're going to fade from one color into the next versus a gradient, which means you're going to go from dark to light in the same color. So first I go with that color, then I'm going to go in with the salmon coral color and sort of try and blend it using one of my daubers. And I definitely need to throw that link in the description because these daubers are super dope and I like them. I use another one of the 3-inch rounds and I trace them onto the scrapbook paper. I decoupage using the Mod Podge. Slap that on there and then do a top coat. At this point, I think I determined that it needed a little something more. And so I go in with the vintage mustard to finish off that ombre look. And I'm really glad that I did. I think it was missing something for sure. And look at that. If I hadn't added the vintage mustard, it would not have looked good on that backdrop. I promised you we were going to use the base of that butterfly lid that I used, and here we are. I'm giving a coat of the vintage mustard on the inside of the box. Then I take the lighter shade of the grotto color and do the sides. Now I've chosen one of the larger solo wood flowers and I'm doing the same technique I did with the other DIY, and I am using my dauber and I am just doing the edges of the petals just to add that pretty dimension, and I'm using a ton of hot glue and I'm just putting that right in the box. I'm loving all these galvanized metal shapes that they have at the Dollar Tree. I take some tape that I had bought at the Dollar Tree as well, and I just make some diagonal lines, and I'm taking my 3 colors, the salmon coral, the grotto, and the vintage mustard, and I'm just making some stripes. And this is a really simple DIY, but I didn't want to do too much because I wanted to keep the galvanized metal showing. And I really love this one. I'm for sure keeping this one out in my house all year round. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed my second tiered tray. I'm really thrilled with the outcome. If you haven't noticed, I'm super into butterflies. That wasn't the theme of the tiered tray, but of course, I gotta have butterflies. I'm surprised I didn't do any on my 4th of July one, right? If you're not already subscribed, please do so. Like and comment. I really am looking for suggestions on what other things you would be interested in seeing me try. I have a couple things in the works that I'm really excited about. I want to try doing some more furniture pieces that are going to be pretty great. And I'm going to revamp my deck. And that's going to be a doozy. Yikes. But I'm going to take you guys along on the ride. So, bye.